What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back with more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. This is our Rise of the Forsaken campaign, our 4th edition of the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I, of course, am your GM, your DM for the night, Mr. Jumbo Thick, and I am joined by my oh-so-beautiful and lovely players, the Unfortunate Fellowship, Doobie209, Jumbo Smooth, and Pierce Galactic. If you care to briefly introduce yourselves, boys, because I want to get into the action.
Hello, everyone. I am Jumbo Smooth. I'll be playing the role of Marius Wolf, and I am actually, I'm a pit fighter now. A former miner. Pretty strong lad, you know. I like to hit things with my pick. Drinky's on. I'm excited to get this started.
What's going on, guys and gals? DB209 here, and you know me. I play Seamus McGreedy, the former road warden turned bounty hunter. I don't know, who knows what will happen after this adventure, you know, with vampires and necromancers and all the other things Seamus has fought. I'm ready to get going.
Oh yeah, and by the way, there's no girls. It's all guys watching. Just so you know.
Hey,
I've looked at the analytics. It's all dudes.
Just equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity for
that. In case there's that one who's
there's that
like,
0.01 I have watching. So there might be a fraction of a woman watching at some point. Who knows?
So, you know, that one woman out there watching, you know, this is for you.
One woman. How about Mr. Galactic?
This is for you.
Welcome back, friends, and all those moms who use their sons' accounts to listen to me play Bragadin Bano.
Yes.
So there's a huge female listener out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Many female listeners.
Bragadin the Bold, favorite character.
Bragadin the Bold, Bragadin the boisterous. Sometimes, just a charming Bretonnian noble, a writer, an artist, a man who has recently lost his father, who has recently seen his hated brother take over the family, and is now on a quest to try and save his beloved sister from foul undead creatures. And that's about it right now.
Oh yes, and I like that. You kind of helped sum up a lot of what's happening right there. So let's do a brief recap at this point. The Fellowship is in the fair land of Bretonnia. They were attending the wedding, the betrothal of Lady Emma Beno, Bragadin's younger sister. Unfortunately, before any ceremony or even a groom could be selected, the tournament was besieged by hideous forces, the undead resurgent. There was a massacre. The tournament field turning into a truly charnel battle with corpses and blood and screams of death and agony. The Fellowship barely made it. Two-thirds of the Fellowship barely made it out of that that encounter. However, after the dust had settled, the screams had subsided, Emma appeared to have been snatched by a vampire, the same vampire knight that almost laid Seamus low during the tournaments itself. Sir Mihail Fries. He was aided by one of Bragadin's former servants, or at least he believes one of his former servants, Gaston, who turns out to be some kind of
treacherous dog,
dark sorcerer, a necromancer of some kind. After she was taken, it was discovered she was taken, you retreated to the castle to tend to your wounds. Seamus was in desperate need of medical attention. You were then met with the foul treachery of Gaston even further, and that Bragadine's father was found emaciated and turned into a leathery mummy. After this discovery, his oldest brother, Gerard, quickly took control of the family and started barking out orders and sent Bragadine, along with whomever he may have joined him, to attend to the Grail Knight, the sacred man of the lady that had come hunting some foul evil. It appears he was just a few hours too late. However, he is set out Tristan de Vries, the Grail Knight, and with Bragadine and a few other individuals, including Seamus and Marius, set out to retrieve Lady Emma and to slay this foul creature. Before you could make it to the abode that the vampire so boisterously announced that he was attending to in the Black Barrows, you had to stop for the night, as it was a several nights' journey to this place, at least as far as you knew. And upon stopping, you were ambushed as of sorts in a burning tower, and Seamus was snatched from the rooftop by a Vargeist and flown off into the darkness. Marius and Bragadine had to fight their way through the rest of the shambling ambush, as well as that included some vampire knights. After a heated battle, they defeated them. They began pursuit of Mr. Macready. Meanwhile, Seamus found himself at the Black Barrows, and not only was he present, but he also discovered the whereabouts of Lady Emma. She was held captive in a cell. This information was short-lived, as he was quickly subdued and tortured, and possibly, well, that's what we're getting to, as he in fact did escape and managed to clamber his way down the hallway and retrieve some, if not all, of his gear. And he's a little worse for the wear, but we'll see how he does. However, Marius and Bragadine, after several days' journey, finally made it to the barrows themselves, only to find themselves in a mist-shrouded field before the barrows that had many corpses festering. Looked almost like a ancient battlefield of some sort. However, the bones appeared to be picked clean and rotting. Many corpses about. And before you could enter the nearest barrow, you were all but baited by a metallic artifact that turned out to be Seamus's mask, almost as if somebody knew you were coming. And upon retrieving the mask, Marius, you were also ambushed by a ravenous pack of crypt ghouls. It was a bloody fight to break free from the horde of these disgusting creatures. Marius almost was snatched a few times, but he managed to dodge and slay his way free, as well as Sir Tristan as well. And Bragadine managed to direct all of the other men-at-arms and the Grail pilgrims that are accompanying you into the barrow safely, unharmed, whereupon Marius and Tristan quickly shut the rather large and massive stone door closed, cutting off any pursuit that these ghouls may have attempted. And you found yourselves in the barrows around the same time that Seamus found a very interesting necromancer who just stumbled upon the man as he had finished buckling the last strap on his armor and you are face to face, Seamus, with Gaston, the man who pulled your fingernails off, cut into you, and blew out your knee with one of your own pistols. You are in the same room that he tortured you in. He is at the doorway. It's maybe 15 feet away. Mm-hmm. He looked at you and was very surprised to see you there. And we're going to need to roll initiative, Seamus, to see what happens next.
Ooh, I knew this was going to happen. I blame the party for this.
Okay. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
That's a 6.
Okay.
You blew it.
Okay. It's fair.
Blame you.
It's fine. So, Seamus, you look up and you see Gaston clambering, and he immediately lays eyes upon you, and his eyes go wide. And he begins muttering to himself. And you feel a pull, Seamus, around his person. Almost as if the shadows are clutching around him. And within a fraction of a second, he disappears. He just gone from view.
I have all my stuff, correct?
You have almost
I'm ready
all
to
of
go.
your stuff. If you'll remember, you had just about everything except for your mask, and your sword was missing.
Oh, it was missing. Okay. Right. Well, a brief, quick look around the room. I'll pick up the mask if that was still there.
It is not. You cannot find your mask.
All right. Well, then, seeing the room is empty, I will head out the door.
Okay.
Limping with a pistol in one hand and my crutch in the other.
All right. And you begin to... your bone crutch. It's ridiculous in and of itself, but it's fine. You begin to hobble out the door, Seamus. And... Seamus, I need you to make me an endurance test.
All right. That is a 51 out of 67.
Okay, Seamus. You feel a deep pain reverberate from your right hand up your arm, and it feels cold, but yet almost like a freezer burn, that cold but burning sensation. And it's very eerily familiar, but it hurts more than normal as you feel a surge and you freeze for a moment. You do not lose your grip on your crutch, however. The symbol, if you remember, that was burned into your hand, that you normally can't see because you wear several layers of leathers and clothing, you see is emanating a dim light currently. You have recovered 2 wounds, Seamus. In addition, you are starting with your toughness bonus and wounds right now. So you can do your toughness bonus plus 2.
Cool.
And that is that.
All right. Probably look at my hand if I can see it, like that burning sensation in it. Kind of mutter to myself and then make my way out this door.
Okay. It is a long corridor. You came from the left. That's where you ventured from. You have not been down the right path, but the choice is yours. Do you go back, or do you head into the unknown?
Do I hear anything from either direction?
Let's see here. go ahead and give me a perception test, and we'll see if Elsa guides you.
Oof. That's a 50 out of 51.
All right. In that case, Seamus, you are listening as intently as you can. And it is very dimly lit in here. There are sparse torches every like 15 or 20, well, probably farther than that, more like 20 or 30 feet. And the walls themselves are not very, they're almost cave-like. They do have some structure, like the floor is nice and solid and flat, but the walls appear almost natural. But still, they look like they were at least hewn at some point, like they've fallen into disrepair. Everything's very moist, though. And you do hear a dull echo coming down your right, but at the same time, you also hear a scraping noise to your left, and it feels, or at least it, from your barely success, you can tell there's something scraping in the distance, and it's very quick, but you're not sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know my prison cell is to the left, and there's a different cell than what Emma was in. So I will turn to the right.
Okay. You begin moving down the right path. And as you do, Seamus, we are going to flip over to Marius Wolf and Bragadine Bonneau. The pair of you have made it inside, finally. Bragadine, you're the furthest one in with the men about you. Marius and Sir Tristan had just closed the massive stone door solidly, preventing the foul beings from outside from clambering in. Those freakish monstrosities with the green flesh and the bone totems dripping from their, draped from their persons. What are you doing, Bragadine?
I look at the nearest man-at-arms next to me, and I say, "Give me that tonight." Snatch the torch that I handed to him earlier back from him, and say, "I am right behind you. Lead the way deeper."
Yes, my lord. And he clutches his halberd two-handed. And the corridor is tight, so this weapon may or may not be that effective in such tight quarters, but he begins leading the way. Marius and Sir Tristan. Marius, what are you doing? Are you just going to begin following from the rear?
After we close the door, Marius is going to say to Sir Tristan, "Well fought. Tristan. It was quite a display.
Well,
let us catch up with the noble."
May the Lady have mercy on us. I feel great evil in this place. We are very close to the creature I must rid this world of. And he begins walking.
Be careful down there. Bragadine said there was a trap.
Yes, can you not see it? And as he motions down towards the wire, you can also easily see in the darkness, even in the dim firelight, the dim torchlight, you can see the wire that Bragadine was talking about, and he easily steps over it, and you do as well. But are you following from the rear, Marius?
I mean, probably.
Okay.
If he took the lead, I'm not going to try to push in front of him. Probably,
Yeah. Well, the Grail Pilgrims, seeing Sir Tristan approaching, just immediately smush themselves as much as they can against the walls, and he just walks essentially through them. A few of them reach out and kind of touch his person as he walks by, and he kind of nudges them off of him as he keeps moving. And
Blessed Knight.
Yes,
I'm
Lord
the
Bonneau.
lady. You should lead the way. You have been touched by the lady herself, and your presence, it fills me with bravery. Thank you, Blessed Knight.
Of course, my lord. And he will begin walking ahead, and you notice, Bragadine, that his eyes are glowing more fiercely than they have ever before, and there actually is light, visible light emanating from his eyes, this kind of golden light, almost leaking from his irises. And it's actually almost like a dim torchlight of its own.
Question: would
yes.
it be enough where if I were to put the torch down or hand it back a few people behind me to a different man-at-arms, would I be able to see?
Not that much, no.
Okay, I'm gonna keep holding onto the torch then. Thank you.
But
yes. I'm right behind Sir Tristan.
Okay. And he motions a few steps ahead of you, and he's not quiet by any means. He's in full plate armor himself. It looks like he has taken a bit of a wound, but he's not showing any slowing whatsoever, as expected, a champion of the lady. And he begins walking very steadfastly down these corridors. He has his hand on his sword. He doesn't have it drawn. It is currently sheathed. But his shield is upon his arm. And his hand is at his sword on his belt. As he eagerly approaches, hopefully, the right direction. Let's roll and let's see what we get here. All right. Sir Tristan, you come to a few junctions where you see offshoots. You're not sure where they go. Everything is very, very dark, very sparse lighting. Bragadine. And he looks down both junctions when you come to a three-way split, and just continues to move forward. And you're about to come around a bend in the corridor. And you notice, Bragadine, that you see some cells to your left down a nearby small tunnelway. And you think you see someone hanging in a cell. It is actually surprisingly more well lit in this area. And Sir Tristram just keeps moving past.
Now this is to the side. This is a side quarter.
This is like almost like an offshoot, like room on the side.
Sir Knight, wait.
And he pauses and looks back. It's this way, Lord Beno.
Sir Knight?
Yes.
I think I see it looks like it may be it's humanoid?
It looks like a humanoid form hanging from in one of the cells.
Sir Knight, I think I see a person over here. I beg of you, let us investigate. Real quick, perhaps.
I tell you, Lord Beno, that man is dead. I can see it plain as day.
You, as I turn over back behind me to one of the men-at-arms, two of the men-at-arms. I only have 2 men-at-arms left.
You only have 2. Actually. You only have 2 left, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And one should have a torch because I told him to grab one outside.
One does have a torch.
You two. Go investigate. Make sure that man is dead.
Yes, my lord. And they quickly scamper off. As they begin to move, Bragadine, you see Sir Tristan. He looks a little, just a flash on his normal stoic face of impatience. After a few moments, you see the men clamber into the room, Bragadine. One with the torch raised high, and the other one with his halberd at the ready, very hunched down low, ready for anything to happen. They move past the cell blocks, and as they're moving past these 3 cells, the first one appears to be completely empty. The second one, the floor has these elaborate, well, not elaborate, but the entire floor is coated with furs and blankets of the sort, almost as if it was made somewhat comfortable. There's even a bundle that looks to be some kind of bundle of furs that somebody was sleeping in, but it appears to be empty. As they make it to the third cell, you hear both of them kind of and it looks like one of them begins to start retching. And in the torchlight, even from this distance, you can tell that there is a man hanging from his ankles from the ceiling, and his head has been cut so far around the neck area that he looks like a Pez dispenser. It is barely hanging on by the spine, and there is no fluid left in this body. It is extremely pale and rotting. And they begin to, I think he's dead, my lord.
Get the hold of your sampan.
Yes, of course.
You are making this wait.
And yes,
Get your ashes over here.
And they begin coming back. Sir Tristan turns on his heels. If you're done now, it's this way. He begins walking. He takes a few steps, and as he comes to a corner, you hear him click his sword free. And then he rushes around the corner. Seamus, I need you to make me a dodge roll.
A dodge roll?
Yes, please.
All right.
You're at minus 20 for your dodge because you have a broken leg.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Oh shit, that's a 5. Out of minus 20, so that's a 5 out of 17.
Okay, all right. That's a 1 degree of success. Seamus, you see the form of possibly a man spin around the corner out of the darkness, and you instinctively go to fall back, and as you do, you notice a gleaming sword lashes out towards your throat, and you don't have time to move, but it stops inches from opening up your arteries. And as you look down the blade, you see the glowing eyes of Sir Tristan de Vries, the Holy Knight in all his splendor. Looks like he's seen battle. And as he sees you and he recognizes who you are, he quickly withdraws his blade and sheaths it. Well, you live.
I knew you were about to die.
Oh, glad to see you still have your humors about you, boy. Let me see you.
Look around.
And he approaches you, Seamus. He reaches into his... He has kind of like a pouch on his hip. Drink this. He hands it to you.
Pop it open, give a little sniff, and then give it an old drink.
Yeah, there is no smell whatsoever to it. You pop it back in your mouth. It tastes like water.
Was this water? Was the fucking wine?
There'll be wine to come, Sir Seamus. For now, I believe your friend will be happy to see you. And it's this point that Bragadine, you lock eyes on Seamus. Marius, you're still a few people behind, but you can see, you kind of all can start hearing this conversation happening.
Seamus, by the blessings of the lady. Oh, I thought we would never see you again. Oh, You look terrible, but here. What can I do for you? Here. Seamus he's free now. He's not actually tied up. Yeah, you escaped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys look like shit yourselves.
That's the Seamus, I know. Marius, behind her. Here, come over here. It's Seamus. We have found him.
I see. Oh. What direction did you guys come from? Did you by chance pass any cells?
We did, Seamus. I sent some of my men-at-arms there, and apparently I could tell from where we were that one was covered in furs. It looked quite comfortable for the conditions here, but how
were they empty?
An upside-down corpse.
The one with the furs, was it empty?
That was the one that had the body in it, right?
No, the one with the furs was in fact
that was another
empty.
One, right? Yeah. No, it appeared to be empty. I saw a bundle of furs, perhaps a bedding of some sort.
Are you positive it was empty?
I did not go. I leaned close to Seamus. I did just send the men-at-arms, perhaps. And not to bite us, we should probably look ourselves.
But no, you fool, your sister was in that one.
What? I turn around and I start running back.
What's going on up there?
Yeah.
Out of the way. Seamus says he's seen my sister. Back here.
Oh, Seamus! How's it going?
Marius
Drop
look
some
like
things,
shit.
Seamus. I can barely see you, but you don't look great. You're look at you. Walking stick. Oh, Seamus. What?
I had a bit of a fall.
He's also missing all the fingernails on his left hand.
Oh, Sigma. What? Your hand. Oh, it looks gross. And I feel like I'm talking over like 3 or 4 peasants. Like,
You are. There's several like Grail
in front of me.
pilgrims just kind of in between.
Yeah. Seamus, you apparently dropped some things along the way. I kind of like I pull out his pistol and like kind of like wave it like above the heads of the peasants. You dropped this.
Oh. Marius, you fool! You don't know how to use that. Give it.
I can't get to you. I'm gonna throw it. No.
Marius, stop distracting Seamus. He said he saw my sister. We must go back and double check, please.
All right. I'll turn around. I turn around and I guess go back to the other, the cell.
Yes.
Do I see my boomstick on?
You do. As soon as Marius turns around, you see your thunderer strapped around his back.
I'll remember to get that from him when I catch up to him.
Yeah. He begins heading back towards the cells.
It's like real tight space, right? Like
it's not. It's so you can stand 2 abreast. So it's tight. It's not like claustrophobic tight though.
That's comfortable for braggading, I imagine.
Yeah, somewhat. Yes, you're not like a midget.
You just
by
elbow
any means,
the
but
2 men-at-arms and pilgrims out of the way.
Yeah. You start pushing people out of the way, and they kind of in deference. And as you begin moving back, Bragadine, you hear Sir Tristan up ahead. Boy, enough! There's no one in that room. This way. And he turns on his heels and begins walking.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Let him go kill him himself. But no, check that room. Make sure she's not in there.
Marius probably would have gone up ahead anyway because he was back in the rear.
Yes.
So Marius is up front, so he probably is already getting close, I guess.
Okay. All right.
You
Marius.
too. As I pointed the men-at-arms, keep an eye on them so I can find them again. Seamus, please, come back and help me. Help me search this room for a clue.
All right. Will do. I'm only on one leg.
What do you mean a clue? I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm walking on ahead to the.
Yeah, exactly.
To the cages.
Marius, you're the first one to make it to the room. You hear the footsteps of the 2 men-at-arms and Sir Tristan begin to fade, as well as the Grail pilgrims down the hallway. You enter the room, Marius, and you see the cells, as I described them previously. 3 cells. The first one appears to be completely empty, the second one with the furs, and the third with the hanging, almost decapitated corpse of what appears to be, Marius, as you get closer, one of the former men-at-arms from the Bonneau household at some point.
And I don't see anything out of the ordinary.
You begin looking around. Go ahead and give me an intuition test.
Okay.
Wouldn't I be right there with him?
You would be here shortly, yes.
Okay.
34 out of 40. So, not the best.
Okay. You begin looking it over, Marius, and at this point, Bragadine, you and Seamus, if Seamus was coming, all end up in the room as well, the quarters, and Marius is already looking over the second cell with the furs. Marius, you notice that it definitely looks like, from this distance, that somebody was, in fact, sleeping in here. That's about all you can tell. From what you can see,
Okay.
it appears to be empty.
Okay. There's no one here. Let's hurry back to Sir Tristan. We don't want to be separated in this place.
Can I do a perception check?
Mary's gonna push past him and start walking.
What are you looking for, Bragadine?
I want to actually just... I'm going to head over to the bundle of furs and just kind of lift them up and throw them around. And
problem is,
actually just kind of...
it's a closed cell.
Probably locked.
You go to move the door, open the door, Bragadine, and it doesn't move. It's locked.
All right.
Could I use my tracking skill to see anything, like footsteps or?
Go ahead and give me a tracking roll.
I don't know if that even applies.
Oh yes, it does. It applies.
A 24 out of 51.
Okay, Seamus, you begin to look around at the floor, and while it's very subtle and easy for most people to overlook, you have a more deft eye when it comes to this. You do see drag marks where it looks like 2 people were dragging a third. And the drag marks are coming from the third cell. And they lead out the door and to the left. In the direction that Sir Tristan was heading, ironically.
All right. I will relay that information, tell them about the drag marks, and make our way to where Sir Tristan was.
Oh, what? Oh, I'm so glad we found you, Seamus. Good. Here, let us get back with the others. Thank you.
All right, you begin moving, and Seamus is at half speed, even with the crutch. So he's not moving very quickly, guys.
I'm in the back.
Unless we're going to papoose him. He is.
Fuck no.
He's slowing everybody down a little bit if you're staying together. Are you staying together?
Can Marius see Sir Tristan from where he is?
With that brief stop, you don't see him.
Okay.
But you hear footsteps in the distance. You're not sure how far. It's kind of... It's weird, Marius, because you're used to being underground. You're used to dark places like this. And sound is unnaturally deceptive. You're not sure why. Maybe it's the walls. Maybe it's whatever the hell the stone is that you don't recognize that's across the floor in several of these other entrances. And of course, there is the lapping, the kind of thick, dingy mud that is why this place is so moist. It's very similar to the mud that was outside, the kind of black, tarry, almost mud that is just a very thin coat across most of the surfaces here. But yes, go ahead.
Marius is gonna, before he heads off, he's gonna hand Seamus his gear.
Okay.
You dropped all these things, Seamus. Next time I won't pick them up for you. And do you need me to carry you? You look a little lame.
Seamus, you have the most hideous walking stick I've ever seen. I can, you, man-at-arms, come here.
Your man-at-arms
like to use his
are
halberd
with
as a
Sir
stick.
Tristan.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool, thank you. My bad.
Marius, give me my gun. A man who lives on the ground has no use for it. You're too dangerous with it.
It's
And
true.
just let me lean on you.
All right. And I'll let him lean on me and
Okay.
start moving up.
All right.
As quickly as we can.
You begin moving up.
I'm gonna try to look for traps a little bit too, if
Okay.
I can.
All right. Go ahead and give me an intuition test.
All right. Ooh, that was real bad. I reroll. I critically failed.
Oh God.
The 10 on my second roll, which is out of 40.
Okay. All right. So 3
Yeah.
levels of success. Marius, you're somewhat leading. You have the best night vision. With Seamus's aid, him directing you on where he thinks that this person was dragged, despite the footprints, and at this point you're picking up the footprints of the party that you were previously traveling with. Marius, you, first off, Seamus, I need you to make me another endurance test. This time at minus 10.
Oof. That's an 81 out of.
All right. Would you like to re-roll it?
Yes, because I'm scared of what's gonna happen. Ooh, that's even better. That's a lot better. That's a 33 out of 57.
Critical success, Seamus.
All right.
Seamus, you feel that cold sensation once again moving up your arm, emanating from your hand. And this time it goes all the way up your arm and into your chest. And Marius, you glance over, Seamus his arm feels ice cold for a moment, and you look over at him. And Seamus, you begin to grimace, but you keep yourself together. It's just a moment, Marius, but you see a flicker where his right eye ceases to exist, and you see blue balefire glowing in it for just the fraction of a ghostly moment, and then it returns back to his normal flesh.
Oryx balls. And I, that Seamus, put your mask on for God's sake, 'cause I gave it back to you.
If you say so, I don't have my sword though.
You need something. Something's not right. It looks like you're changing into that thing.
And Bragadine, you get to make me a perception test right now, Bragadine.
All right. Am I listening or am I looking?
You will find out.
Okay, I got a 51 out of 61 for sight.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 51 out of 81 for sound. And I have acute hearing.
Okay. As Marius and Seamus are having this conversation right before Seamus looks like he's reaching for his mask that Marius returned to him. Bragadine, you see a stone loosen next to Marius in this tunnel. It kind of loosens and then begins to move a little bit, and you hear a noise of earth beginning to move.
Marius, on guard. The wall.
Do I see anything or?
Marius, you quickly glance over, and because of Bragadine's goddamn sixth sense, you at the last second you see the wall beginning to buckle next to you. You know what a crumbling piece of wall looks like, and it looks like this is about to give in your direction. You have enough time to grab a hold of Seamus and dart briefly ahead. As you do so, you dart ahead, and a large section, about a 10-foot section of this wall, explodes inward. The tunnel briefly rocks for a second, and you hear screams emanate from ahead at where you're assuming your former party members are. And as the wall explodes inward, there is the smell of rotten meat and unclean flesh, as a hunched, furred but leathery form that looks like a grotesque bat that has been given humanoid shape. It is about, probably, if it wasn't so hunched over, it would be somewhere around 12 feet tall. It barely fits in this tunnel as it is. And the arms that it's standing on are actually, looks like they're broken wings. This is no Vargeist, but something close to it, as its snout begins to sniff and its large black eyes look back and forth, and it glances over at Bragadine Bonneau. And I need you to make me a cool test, Bragadine.
Cool. 5.
You do not shit your pants, Bragadine. You easily...
Yes. 6 level success.
Yes, about to say, you very definitely brace yourself after this horrifying sight and take a few steps back as it sniffs over at you. It hisses loudly, and then I need Marius and I need Seamus to make me cool test as well.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. I think that's good. 26 out of 49.
Okay. And Marius?
Marius rolled a 6 out of
God damn it.
65.
Okay. Yes. All of you easily keep your cool. Well, Seamus almost. But regardless, you managed
We fight
to...
demons, yo.
It's true. You have faced down worse
We've
than
seen some
anything. You have seen some shit for sure. But the Vargolf sniffs, and then it screeches, and as it screeches, this loud reverberation echoes down the hallway over Marius and Seamus specifically, and you kind of clutch at your ears for a moment. And then it reaches out to attempt to snatch Seamus McCready.
God damn it.
So,
Is it sorry, well, one question.
yes.
Quick question. Is it like trying to get the lay of the land, is it in between myself and Seamus and Bragadine?
No.
Like, are we split?
So
right now?
Marius and
Okay.
Seamus are on one side. Bragadine is on the other side of the creature. It is halfway.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it's like halfway in this tunnel. Its full body doesn't fit in here. It's like hunched over and kind of. It looks like whatever passage it just came through is much larger. but it's reaching in
Okay.
with one of its long appendages to try to grab Seamus McCready. I need all of you to roll me initiative.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
I got a 10.
Okay.
Mary's got an 11.
Maris 11 and Bragadine.
15.
Okay.
Oh.
Bragadine, Marius, then Seamus. All right. Make sure I got this down. Okay. Bragadine, you are first in the initiative order. As you see this creature with this leathery flesh that has this strange-looking fur upon it, it's definitely some undead beast, very, very big. It is looked away from you, Bragadine, and it looks like it's reaching towards your compatriots. What do you do in this moment?
I run forward and I attack it by thrusting the torch into its furry part.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and give me a attack roll. This will be just straight. You know what? I'll give you melee basic, so you can use your melee basic on this.
Okay. Still a negative 10 though because I'm using my off arm, right?
Negative 20.
Okay. I rolled a 22.
Is it a critical
So,
failure or a success?
22. Oh, it's not a failure. It's a 22 out of 37.
All right. Let's roll me a D100 first.
Okay. Fantastic dice. 75.
All right. Let me make sure I got where that is. Okay, roll me one more.
23.
23. Dear God. You thrust the torch. How many success levels would have that been for you?
That would have just been one because
One success level?
20.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
one
one,
success
yeah.
level. You have a strength. Okay. You don't do a ton of damage to the creature from the attack,
Okay.
but here's what happens. as you thrust the burning torch at it, you smack the tip. Looks like low underneath what should be its belly, perhaps. And it does take some damage. It also, the fetid flesh is apparently dry and possibly covered in flammable liquids of a sort, as its underbelly quickly catches and it is actively on fire. And in doing so, it immediately the claw retreats from Seamus and Marius and begins screaming and clambering around, and it appears that it has, for the moment, mechanically, it is severely stunned in addition to being on fire. So well played.
Very
Would you like to do anything else? Or can you do anything else, Bragadine?
Can I kind of move back a little bit now?
You can. It will get a free attack against you. But
Nope.
with 3 stun conditions, it has a very low chance of hitting you. But if you don't want to take the risk, You can burn your momentum to get out of arm's reach.
No, I'll back up and I'll take the risk.
Okay, all right.
Kind of on guard. Yeah.
All right. So it's thrashing about, and that leads us to Marius Wolf. It is your turn.
All right. So it's in the larger tunnel now, I guess.
It looks like it's going to attempt to retreat when it can. It has not had its turn yet.
Okay.
So it is currently on fire and looks like it probably will make a retreat.
Then I'll probably try to give it some extra motivation to get out of here. So I'll try to attack it if I can.
Okay. You have a plus 30 to this attack because of its stun conditions.
Oh shit!
Yes,
All right.
I know.
I'll see what happens.
Yep.
It's a 47 out of 100.
Yep. I figured as much. How much damage is that, Marius Wolf?
That would be. Let me think.
Dear God.
That's 20 damage.
20
Plus
damage. As the creature it's burning, just thrashing about, and you just overhanded, and the pick sinks deep into its back, or through the rank flesh, easily parting through the leathery like skin, and it squeals out in pain as the pick digs deep into it. It is still standing, but it looks severely hurt already. Is that going to be it, Marius?
Yeah, that will be it.
All right. As the creature is thrashing about, that leads us to Seamus McCready. It is your turn, Seamus. As you watch Marius go in with a powerful overhead strike into the creature itself.
I'm just going to attempt to, end its suffering and put a bullet in its head and kill it.
Okay. Pistol or Thunderer?
Pistol.
Okay. You do get your plus 20 point blank shot. It's also a large creature, so you get an additional plus 10. So it is a plus 30. God damn it.
Oh, God.
See how you do.
Ooh, I needed that. That's a 86 out of 101.
Okay. All right. What's your damage? What's your damage?
It's going to be, the pistol is 9 with, so 10 total, I believe. It was just one success level.
All right, 10 damage, and yours is piercing, so yeah, it bypasses 1 point of armor. Okay. All right, you level your pistol, Seamus, and you're technically in melee with it, but you point blank range aim at the Vargolf as it's thrashing around, and as you boom, this resounding explosion erupts from the barrel. You take the creature in its left kind of hindquarters, probably its leg, which is further back in the room, as you were kind of aiming for a center mass, but with it thrashing so much, you didn't quite hit the area you wanted to, but still inflicted pain on the creature as it begins to attempt to now pull away. As it does, let me see how much damage happens to it. Okay, that sucks. And it is, in fact, leaving. So...
Do we get any kind of reactions against
We'll
it?
start with Bragadine. You get a free attack, Bragadine, if you choose to take it.
I do.
Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Rolled 6. Out of 47.
You also get a plus 30 to this roll, Bragadine. So,
I rolled 6 out of 77.
yep. How much damage is that, Bragadine?
Okay, so that's 7 points of success plus 5 strength, so it's 12.
12.
And,
Look at him.
Fireworks.
Bragadine just killed a Vargle.
Hell
Hold
yeah.
on.
Plus whatever a torch does, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. It's like, it smacks it. Let's see here. Is that 6? All right. You smack it again as it begins to leave, and the flames kind of, the embers from the torch, you almost snuff the torch out, but you do ignite more of the flesh as you do so, and it begins screaming once more again. Marius, you also get a free attack as it is trying to pull itself out of this hallway.
All right. That is a 79 out of 110.
How much damage is that, Marius?
That's 22 damage.
How would you like to do this,
'Cause I've
Marius
got the-
Wolf? How would you like
Okay.
to do this?
Oh.
As usual.
Sorry, boys. I'll be taking this one.
God damn it.
I was hoping Beno would get to.
I know. I was too.
but I was hoping it too.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, good.
I will, as it's kind of scurrying away, I guess, or like trying to get away. I'd like to just like take my pick and like slam it down on its like arm and like pin it into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's struggling, I'll pull out my axe and just like slam it in top of its head. Killing the beast. And as soon as it's done moving, I'm going to cut off its head with the axe and start hacking at it.
The creature falls limp, and it's like pathetic cries cease. Its massive bulk clogs up the hole that it was trying to retreat out of. The smell of burnt, decaying flesh is unpleasant aroma, to say the least, as Marius Wolf begins going about grisly work, removing a head easily the size of a large horse with his small hand axe. Okay, it takes a little while as he's screaming, hacking into its throat.
As I'm hacking at it, I'll like take a brief glimpse back at Seamus and be like, "I found my axe," and then continue to hack away until it's.
I'm going to say,
gone.
with a small. I mean, this is a large neck. It's going to take you a little while, probably at least a minute of Marius hacks, which is saying something because you're strong as hell. So you're carving deeply, but you still just have a small implement. It takes you about a minute or so, and then you eventually cleave through, and the head slides off the body and rolls away.
Seamus, you want this? And I'll point at the head.
Seamus, it's massive. It's a huge head. The mouth is just splayed open, and I will say it's horrifying to look at. The creature's head is it's the fact that it looks humanoid makes it more disturbing.
I was kind of leaning on my crutch, as I'm used to seeing Marius do this type of stuff, and if I had a cigarette, I'd be smoking one right now. And I was kind of look at it it's like, Marius, you take that one. You're the beast slayer.
I'll take
Out
my
the way,
pick.
Marius.
I'm gonna take my pick and just drive the pick one more time in the head just for good measure. And then I'm gonna like grab the head and just like fling it down the hallway. The way we came,
Yeah, of
and
course.
just fling it down the hallway.
Marius, you could have tied that around your belt.
It's a little large.
I'm sure.
I'll say,
I'm sure
Marius,
Sarah would love for you to bring that back home.
Sigma
Marius-
bless us, my friends. That was good fighting. Braggarty and I.
fighting.
Yeah, sure. Who knew a torch could be so deadly? Really burnt his biscuits.
Oh my god.
I was just so angry. I was just so angry. But gentlemen, I thought I heard screams.
Yes,
where
you're right, of course.
Sir Tristan, here, let us hurry over there.
Kick
You
the
begin
bars off as I
moving
run
in that
away.
direction.
I'm going to pass the torch off because I know it's about to go, and I'm going to draw my sword.
Okay, yeah, and I will say, like, you were beating something with it, like it's on the verge of going out as it was, so
Yeah.
it's not much of a loss as you drop the torch and draw your sword as you begin to head forward.
And I'm no expert, but these creatures might be extremely flammable.
It definitely seems so.
You turn the corner.
Ignite so quickly.
you turn the corner. We'll see how easily ignited they all are, you bastards.
It's like they're covered in gasoline.
They're covered in gas.
Oh god. You turn the corner and you pass several offshoots. With Seamus's previous roll, you easily stay on track. And after a minute or two, you come to a choke point in the hallway where it looks like there are piles of zombies and skeletons that are almost clogging the hall from floor to ceiling. They're unmoving, and you hear heavy breathing on the other side and flickering torchlight.
So Tristan? I'll say in Reichspiel,
Yes. Yes. Move away. Move back.
Very well. And I'll tell the guys to back up. Back up.
You back up, and as you do, several of the corpses at the tops stumble, fall off the top of this pile. They just kind of unceremoniously clamber at your feet. And you see Sir Tristan doesn't look very harmed, but you also see Bragadine's 2 men-at-arms as well, pushing corpses out of the way. And you can see, now that you see past them, you see that there is a similar pile about 15 feet ahead of them, that it looks like the Grail pilgrims are panting heavily. The man that was missing an arm is nowhere to be seen. So there are 4, where previously there were 5.
Is that Fingers? Is his name, I think?
His name was Fingers. He will be remembered.
Damn it. You named him.
Gave him a name.
I know I named him. He died.
Sir Tristan is due. His number's coming.
Jumbo names with the dozens.
So yes, but there is a large amount of bodies present as they begin to push them away. And the men-at-arms look like they've seen heavy fighting, but they look pretty good. And the other Grail pilgrims look pretty decent, though all of them are covered in old, coagulated black blood that used to be inside of these zombies. And of course, there's a few skeletons that have been crumbled and their heads have been pulped into ash.
That choke point past all those bodies, both piles, is where we need to go, right? From the tracks.
Let's find out. Seamus, go ahead and give me another endurance test at -20 this time.
Oh, good lord. I'm gonna use my last fortune. That was a crit failure, thanks to the -20. Ooh. I think I just barely crit success on this one. Yeah, that's a 44 out of 47.
Okay, Seamus. You, once again, and I will say, like the last time, you recovered an additional 2 wounds. I forgot to tell you that.
Oh. Well, that would have been handy.
Yep, I know. This time, you feel another pulse again. With your critical success, no one notices it too much. But this time, in addition to a pulse, you feel the energy travel up your arm into your chest, then into your other arm, and then down your midsection, down into your legs. And it just feels icy cold. If anybody was looking, they might see a brief flash where Seamus MacCready was becoming something else for just a moment. You regain 3 more wounds, Seamus, in this brief instance. And as this happens, Seamus, you feel a pull as well, almost like a tether from your hand. And you feel, if the direction is true, you feel it right next to where one of the Grail Pilgrims is standing.
Do I see like a door or anything?
You would have to get closer.
I would like to get closer.
Okay. You have to clamber over these bodies, which can be done with given enough time. But you begin to push your way forward, and Sir Tristan and the men-at-arms are pulling the corpses away as well to try to make it easier to get into this portion of the hallway. It looks like the pilgrims are trying to push the pile ahead of you away. But Seamus, go ahead, Maris.
I was just gonna say I'm assuming we're all clambering up, but
Yes.
I will try to go to where the pilgrims are and help them move stuff.
Okay, yeah, and you would cover the distance quicker than Seamus, as he's still hurt pretty badly, so you easily get over before him and go over to where the pilgrims are. Marius, go ahead and give me a strength check.
Okay. My God, I'm gonna have to reroll. I failed.
What?
A rare failure. You know, I won't allow it to happen. The next one's a lot better. It's a 23 out of 70.
Okay, you begin pushing along with the men-at-arms, and slowly but surely you begin to press in, and you're pressing, it looks like a significant bulk of just flesh further into the tunnel, spilling inwards or away from you, and there's just more tunnel ahead. And as the corpses roll down, you see dim firelight in the distance, and it looks like you are clearing a path slowly but surely. Bragadine, are you doing anything in this moment?
I am shouting at the 2 men-of-arms to clear these out of the way and help me across the pile.
Of course. You know what? Just for fun, go ahead and give me a leadership roll. Or a charm test, your choice.
Alright. You are such brave soldiers. Look what you have done with the help of Sir Tristan. Here, help me get the front so that I may fight with him. I rolled a 9.
Okay. That's significant for you, I know.
Yeah.
As you do so, the men... Success. Yeah, the men feel... You can see on their face, Bragadine, that they feel emboldened by your words. Their lord is speaking graciously to them, and they begin to work more quickly and with more eagerness, clearing away some more of the corpses. And one of them putting down his halberd and reaching out and steadying you with your hand as you climb over this pile easily and into the corridor ahead. Seamus, you feel that pull where you felt the pull from. You feel almost like a tether, almost like there's something right here, and you begin walking towards where Marius has been pushing, and it's to your right, and you look over to the right, and you just see a wall, and you pause for a moment, Seamus. Give it a smell. You think you might smell something, Seamus. It smells almost electric. It smells like a recent storm. And as you glance at this wall, go ahead and give me an intuition test.
Yeah, probably put my hand on it, like rubbing the stones.
Rub those stones, both of them, eagerly.
Oh, yes.
Do something.
That
Do it
smells
slowly.
Marius. That smell is probably Marius farting.
It might be, depending on how bad this roll is.
Is a 46 out of 51.
Okay. So, Seamus, I was going to give you a plus 20 on this roll,
Okay.
which is fine. But you begin to touch the wall, Seamus, and as you do, you notice that there's something loose. You press your hand into it. It looks like almost like a root. And as your hand grasps it and then pulls downwards, an entire section of this tunnel just slides inward on a pivot as if there was a hidden door. What do you know? As it slides to the side, you notice, Seamus, immediately that there are stairs. And they are made of stone, but they're not hewn like a set of they're not normal stairs. It looks like just stones that have been placed haphazardly. They're not even very well done. And you do see drag marks down the stairs, Seamus. And as soon as this door opens up, one of the pilgrim next to you kind of flinches backwards, and then everyone turns and notices the open door. Sir Tristan's the first one to speak up. Very good. I knew we were close.
This is the way. It's calling to me.
Perhaps you should stay behind me then.
I probably will. I've only got one leg.
And he walks past you, Seamus, into the darkness. And it is very, very dark. You only see a few paces down into the tunnel. But you do see the glow of Sir Tristan's eyes as he keeps going down and down and down. What are the rest of you
We
doing?
move this shit for nothing?
That's probably. I'm going to assume that's one of the Grail pilgrims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, damn it. Raggedy, let's follow them, I guess.
Bragging.
It is very dark down there.
Bragging, I want you to know Gaston's a prick.
You are too kind. I hope I get the chance to burn him at the stake myself.
So, that makes two of us. Marius, I need your eyes.
All right. I'll follow behind Sir Tristan, I guess.
Yes. And you can see dimly, of
Kinda
course,
see the way.
in the light with your night eyes. The pilgrims begin to move down behind the three of you, and they have torches with them, so it's lit.
Okay.
So yes, it's lit behind you, but further down, of course, it is not so. You have some light, and this is it's a tight corridor. It's very tight, in fact. You cannot stand side by side going down this end. As it moves down, it's uneven. It looks like the tunnel has shifted in places, and there's a couple points where you actually have to pivot sideways and force yourself through tight openings. But everyone can do so without any checks needing to be made. After about 20 minutes of descending stairs, Sir Tristan holds a hand back, Marius, and only you can see it. No one else can see it in the very dim light. He doesn't say anything. He just holds a hand back to stop.
I'll kind of put my hand out as well, trying to see, kind of turning my head to see if the people behind me see it.
All right.
Not saying anything, but,
You do so. And as you do so, then you begin to see, Marius, that there's a flickering light up ahead. It's very dim. You didn't notice it before because it's not traditional firelight. It's blue. Sir Tristan begins edging forward. Do you do the same?
Yeah, does it look like the same light that Seamus sheds?
It, in fact, somehow does. It's very odd how that works.
I'll kind of quietly gesture the party to follow.
The rest of you begin moving down. Marius, you're going to be the first one as you reach a point where the tunnel finally stops, and it looks like it opens up into a massive cavern, an underground cavern beneath these tomb barrows and some hidden structure. This cavern is huge and looks natural but sculpted. It's hard to explain, similar to the stairs. About 100 or 200 feet above you is the ceiling, covered with stalagmites or stalactites. I don't know the difference anymore. The floor also has several of these similar structures coming almost connecting a few of them from up above and down below. There are puddles of water, and that same sticky black kind of mud is present on the walls. But the firelight, the blue flame, the flickering balefire, as it was, is coming 100 yards ahead, so 300 feet ahead, Marius. You see there's a raised section of the cavern floor, and behind it, it looks like just a vast empty blackness. You can't see anything behind it. But before it, you see at least 30 or 40 humanoid shapes standing silently, unmoving, wearing darkened plate armor of a kind. And you can see from where the helmet meets the shoulders that they are skeletons beneath. Seamus would recognize these as Graveguard. They are stalwartly looking forward ahead at the raised section of the cavern. There is large sconces on each side of this raised platform, and there are several smaller ones of these small little tiny balefires moving in your direction, almost like a pathway, a very specific arrangement of light has been made, almost, one could say, ceremonial. Around the outskirts of these skeletons, you see several of the crypt ghouls that assailed you from above, slinking in and out of the shadows. And Marius, you also see something you've never seen before. You see at least 4 large creatures. Their skin is green and molten, and they have the same hunched but disgusting pallor as the crypt ghouls. They're much, much larger. Each of them has what looks like some kind of giant bone club that is just a mass of meat and bones that have been just mushed together to make this kind of primitive looking club. And they're at least 10, 11 feet tall and just muscle upon muscle. And they are easily just kind of swaying and looking around stupidly. But up ahead on the dais, on the raised part of this cavern, you see 4 more knights, vampiric in nature, standing at corners of this dais. There are 3 more figures standing. Well, 2 more. Yes, there would be 3 more standing. You see a very out of breath and heaving Gaston, the necromancer, in his modeled assortment of stitched human clothing. It looks like he is incanting something under his breath, while Sir Michael Freeze is pacing around the dais, also incanting something in some strange language. There is another figure sitting atop what looks like a throne, back behind the 2 of them. It is most certainly a humanoid man in armor as dark and red as chilled blood. His head is completely bald, and his skin is so white. His eyes are a fiery red, and he looks aged. He looks like something from an ancient time. He has 1 large curved blade resting across his lap as he is watching this ceremony take place. You don't know who he is, but you suspect he is some foul creature of the night. And judging from the deference the others are showing him, he is dangerous. But you also see there is a pedestal in the center of this procession on top. And upon it, Marius, lies a female figure in a white dress. Hair dangling limply behind her. Unmoving. There's something clutched to her chest. And there is blood spattered across her person. You see 3 corpses laying on 3 of the 4 corners of this not dais, of the altar. I'll just call it what it is. The altar that Emma is resting upon. And you see the corpses of 3 of the Bonneau household that apparently were taken upon the escape of these creatures. And it looks like their heads have been nearly sawn off, similar to the man you saw in the cells. There is a 4th currently praying something and crying on the last corner, as Michael Freeze is holding a all too familiar sword in his hand and is walking behind the man and brings it to his throat. And in this moment, I need to know what the 3 of you are doing.
Pissing myself? The fuck?
Seamus
Jesus.
is just running there screaming, you know.
As he hobbles along.
Oh, fuck you!
Gosh, I don't. So we are just like.
You
Am
are.
I the only one that sees this?
At this point, everyone has come down, and for the sake of not having to repeat it all of you can see this.
Yeah. You said there was 30 to 40 graveguard?
There is.
Jesus.
Several crypt ghouls.
Yeah.
Several crypt horrors. 4 vampire knights. A necromancer. A Sir Michael Freeze. And then some other unknown vampire that is sitting upon a throne.
Jesus.
Vampire Lord.
Fuck me.
Manfred.
I mean, if Marius, probably Marius is speechless at this point. You know, this is probably the largest force that we've come across, besides perhaps the Skaven at some point. But I'm just like, I'm assuming we're all just kind of staying there slack-jawed.
Nope.
For a second.
Emma, what have you done to Emma?
That.
Oh, Bragadine.
Look at him there.
Bragadine, do you scream out, Bragadine?
I do. Emma, what have you done to her?
And as you scream out, several of the ghouls kind of look over in your direction, and the vampire knights immediately glance further back and make eye contact with you, Bragadine. And as you do, the whispering words of Sir Michael Freeze, he looks over at you, Seamus. And though he is 300 feet from you, you hear him whispering in your ear, Seamus. This is how you use your power, boy. And he slices the throat open of the last men-at-arms. And I need Seamus McCready to make me a minus 30 endurance test.
Son of a bitch. Oh, that's a 5 out of 37.
Oh, Seamus, you regain 4 wounds, Seamus.
Yes.
As for a flickering moment, Seamus's face becomes ethereal and wraith-like as his body begins to change, but he grits his teeth and his fleshy form once again comes to the forefront, not losing himself in this pivotal moment. And as that happens, you see the ghouls and their much larger brethren turn and charge. And that's where we're going to take our first break.